climate change experts have now lauded that Nairobi Declaration, saying it presents a strong case in the upcoming COP28 climate change summit in the United Arab Emirates due to the rare showcasing of a united agenda by African leaders. However, several stakeholders say the declaration failed to entrench Article 4 of the Paris Agreement, which categorizes Africa as a vulnerable continent under special needs and circumstances. Seth Olale unpacks that Nairobi Declaration.
The landmark African Climate Summit concluded with leaders adopting the Nairobi Declaration that will form the basis for Africa's common position in the global climate change space. A declaration that continues to elicit reaction from both governments and non-state actors.
Just to have African heads of states and leaders, civil society, non-state actors come together to discuss climate change is already the right step in the right direction. And I think if this becomes a culture and tradition of Africa, our climate diplomacy will even be better. And it can only go ahead to reinforce the position of Africa, which is the most equitable, the most scientific, and the most progressive.
However, the climate change expert says the declaration missed out on entrenching Africa as a continent for special needs and circumstances, and should therefore be accorded grants and not loans to mitigate adverse effects of climate change in accordance with Article 4 and 9 of the Paris COP28 agreement.
The African special needs and circumstances, which is absent from the declaration, I think that was a missed opportunity to have had it on the declaration, because this is not stated by us. It is as per Article 4 of the Convention on Climate Change, that Africa has the potential of warming more than 1.5 times the global mean temperature. So Africa is unique and should be taken into consideration.
And this is the main concern. We will have a lot of talk, a lot of discussion, but if after that we just maybe put 1 billion in the system, that will never be enough, because the financing gap is huge. The real challenge that we have is a challenge of scale. We need to do more.
Non-state actors argue that the Nairobi Agreement fails to ensure climate change agreements are legally binding in order to draw robust environmental compensation from carbon producers and emitters.
Article 34 of the Sharm el-Sheikh Plan of Implementation says climate finance for vulnerable regions, like especially sub-Saharan Africa, has to come in terms of grants and not loans. We thought that in this Nairobi Declaration we would have seen something on that, to expatiate on that and call on the international community to honor that, because that is very important for our continent.
The declaration calls for a new financing architecture that is responsive to Africa's needs, including debt restructuring and relief. Analysts say a united African voice could generate momentum for a series of key gatherings leading to the UN Climate Summit starting in November, including the G20 meeting in New Delhi this weekend. Seth Olale, Citizen TV, Nairobi.